God is faithful. All of us who have journeyed with God's people during their 100 days of prayer have received power and proof of the great love of the Lord. God's word says that He loves to give good gifts to His children. Through this season of prayer, all of us have witnessed the miracles of God. Through prayer, we have abandoned spiritual Egypt, where we were slaves dependent on the works of our own hands for survival. Through 100 days of prayer, we have traded bricks for manna, the divine bread from heaven each day. As we have traveled, we have found fresh water in the desert wilderness of life. As we have prayed, we have found God to be a warm and comforting fire by night and a cooling cloud of protection by day. God has indeed been faithful. He answers His people who persevere in prayer. Moses was sent to lead the people out of bondage after more than 40 years of prayers had been lifted up by His people. They continued to pray after Moses had come to deliver them. They continued in prayer not once, but all through the 10 plagues of Egypt, each time receiving a fresh revelation of the power and the love of God for His praying people. God has been just as faithful to us on our journey of prayer as He was to the Israelites. During their 100 days of prayer, we asked God to bless us as we prepare for the new season of mission in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Through this journey of prayer, we have seen miracles. Through this journey, we have been baptized in the Red Sea and the Jordan as we have made the choice to follow Him. As we have prayed together, we have been consecrated and circumcised at Gilgal. God has used their 100 days of prayer to prepare us to claim His promised land of mission, and it is through continued prayer that we shall now stand ready to receive it. The walls of spiritual darkness that defy the living God must come down. These are strongholds that stand against the Spirit of God in our own lives, in our families, in our churches, and in the world. God has promised to give us victory over these strongholds now that He has brought us this far through prayer. Our world is crying out for salvation. Through continued prayer, we refuse to retreat from the great victory that God has promised us. Through continued prayer, we reject the temptation to try to fashion His kingdom with our own works or the power of our hands. Instead, we claim our future for Christ, surrounding it in prayer until God moves and the walls of the enemy's strongholds come down. God has called us to claim this territory, and through continued prayer, our victory is assured. God is faithful. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 9 to 10, Jesus said, "This then is how you should pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. In the promised land, His will shall be accomplished on earth as it is done in heaven." 100 days of prayer has brought us to this moment, and we are called to seize this moment by continuing in prayer until His kingdom comes, until His will is done in our hearts as it is in heaven, until His will is done in our families as it is in heaven, until His will is done in our churches as it is in heaven, and until His will is done in the world as it is in heaven. Let us keep praying. Let us stay on our knees. Let us choose today whom we will serve, follow Him, and see His goodness. Let those who have been blessed of the Lord and who believe in His power to save make a declaration with their continued prayer that, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord."